What's up, guys? Pittsburgh White Schwartz back again with yet another deck tech. I'm joined today by Zach and Billy.
Oh, am I in the video now?
So we're gonna run through another newer BanG Dream, I guess to English archetype. It's called Aya Lisa. It uses a pastel palettes engine with sort of the restanding top end, sort of taking advantage of the Aya restander that was always like pretty good, but like also kind of lackluster. And they also got a lot of other strong cards that English hasn't really like sort of seen the profile of before. So let's just get right into it. We'll start with zeros. We run 4 Aya mill runners. Standard mill runners, plusing 0. You're going to notice something with our level 0 lineup. It's very lean, it's very directed, and that's on purpose. We don't have room for a lot of tech in this list. You have to hit specific stuff at specific times, and we need to be as consistent as possible. So you're going to see a lot of 4-0s. Getting into that, 4 of this new Aya Clock Searcher. So this is a yellow reprint of the Eve from Girls Band Party Set 1. So what this does, you put a card from your hand into your clock. I don't believe it has to be a character. Yes, it can be anything. Put a card from your hand into your clock, search your deck for a pastel palettes character. So it's a costless drop searcher, is how you have to think about it. There's no stock cost involved, but you have to put a card in your thing for hands. It's clock yourself search, but it's effectively a drop searcher. Helps us get into our pieces. We need to assemble a lot of stuff very quickly, so we run 4 of it. It's also a 2500 swing if we need it. That's what we got.
For 0 to be that statted and have that search capability.
All right, and then we're running 4 of the new Chisato Brainstormer. So on play, it scries 1, so look at top, leave it on top or put it on bottom, and then it's a brainstorm for number of colors +1. It's a salvage instead of a search, unlike the Eve. But it's blue. It's important to note, this is like most pastel palettes deck. It's a blue-red deck with like no other additional colors. You just need to have your back rows and other things set. It's a little different, so it's important that this card is blue in the back row, and we'll get to why when we get to our level 1s. But yeah, so this is really cool because it has a scry and it's for number of colors. If you play it down on the turn when you're going to brainstorm, it's effectively a 6-card brainstorm if you have all your colors, because it scries 1 and then goes 5 cards for your brainstorm. So yeah, so it's just really cool payoff card for running pastel palettes. And then of course we're running 4 of the Maya. So this is our other back row card. This is our ideal back row. Maya has a really cool effect where at the beginning of your main phase, after you clock, you can exchange the bottom card of your clock with a pastel palettes character from your waiting room. Really important for a level 1 that we're running. And it's also a frontal assist 1000 if you have all 4 colors on your field, which is also really cool. Last card in our 0 lineups, we run this Akko. It's important that she's Roselia. She's Climax Ditch. She has some other effect that never matters. Yeah, she gets an extra 1000 power if you have 2 or more other music characters. But that doesn't matter. We run her because she's a Climax Ditch filter. Because if you get flooded in this deck, it kind of sucks. Because your only ditch outlet is to clock. And she's Roselia, which is important for our Lisa in the end game. So yeah, this is our whole level 0 lineup. Very directed, very important. Cutting all the fat. We don't have room for any of that in this list. And now that we're getting into level 1, we will show you why. So here's our level 1. 4 of this Maya, and oh no, it's actually level 2. 4 of this Maya. So this is, oh, why would Carmen talk about this? This is Shiroha from Summer Pockets. On play, this loots 1, and then when you play the Gate Climax, she sacks herself off and changes into this from your hand. And then this is a 9/5 if you have all 4 colors, and on reverse, mill top 4, grab 2 pastel palettes characters, add to hand, give something 1000 power. I believe, yeah, until end of turn. So it's like a super Minami that's also a 2/1. And if you have the Maya, green Maya in the back row, it's effectively a 10k, 10/5 cross turn. That's like unbelievably difficult for any deck in English to deal with these days, unless they have like Shaken backup or Rend, I guess, since Fate is a thing now. But yeah, this is just like a big payoff for paying this engine. The Shiroha style combos feel disgusting to play, especially since this one, unlike true Shiroha, can plus you twice, so your hand can actually go back up to full. Unlike in Summer Pockets where you usually get back up to 5 or maybe 6, you don't go to a 7. Like this will just throw you all the way back up to a full hand, and you have these giant bodies on the board that aren't going anywhere. And because your back row is green and blue, and you only can really do 2 of these because you need all 4 colors on board. You're going to have some red level 1. We'll get into this card in a second. So you only need to resolve 2 of these too. So you're not trying to like tri-fill this. You're trying to get 4 cards in the climax. With all the searching tools that we have, it's a little bit not nearly as bad as you'd think. So yeah, let me get this level 2s out of here. I'll leave these down here just so that you guys can see, because that's our ideal back row here. Going on in level 1, we have this new Aya. So she's a 7k on your turn when she swings in, as long as, what's her condition? As long as you have all colors on board, of course, the Pastel Palettes card. Her second effect, though, is sick. Remember how we were talking about how Maya changes the bottom card with a Pastel Palettes character? It isn't, yeah. Pastel Palettes character in your waiting room. So you can do some cool shit with this, because this card's effect is ditch a card from your hand, grab a card from your clock, add it to character from your clock, any music character, add it to hand, clock yourself 1. So you get to salvage from your waiting room for free with this combo. You just have to set it up at the beginning of your main phase. So it lets you filter like crazy. You need to have a second red lane since you're gonna, or a third red lane since you're gonna have 2 of these Mayas down. So like, this is just like the best optimal third lane you can play. I see a lot of other people play the like 7k cross turn Chisato, but the filtering power for this, since we have to put so many pieces together for an end game that are very specific, the cards that we can't have a reason to get anyway, since a lot of our stuff only grabs Pastel Palettes outside of our Brainstorm, and we need to grab Roselia characters. This card's just really, really important for the deck. So get that down there. Getting to our last year level 1. Speaking of Roselia characters, we're running 3 2k Yukina backups. Good for protecting our Mayas. Even better for ditching in our endgame to get our Lisa to burn 1. But yeah, that's about it. Let me get these out of here. I'll leave those 2 zeros down there, just so you guys can keep that in mind. So on to level 2s. We already talked about it. We got 4 Mayas for a combo. And then we're also running 2 Buns. Buns for Luck is stupid. We have a giant, like, bombastic, ridiculous finisher, so we want to make that as dumb as possible. We build a lot of stock because you're changing into this for free at level 1. You're not paying for it. We don't really run any early plays. We sit on these kind of all games, so we kind of have a buttload of stock, and we're amassing a bunch of different cards. So just being able to threaten this is really strong. I've seen a lot of people drop this for, like, the Himari Bomb that, like, gives you the free stock. But Buns is too stupid. I think in any BanG Dream list where you are trying to burn somebody out, you should be threatening Buns. But, you know, it's all personal preference. So get these out of here. On to the true fun stuff, our level 3s. So we run 3 Aya Restand, 3 Lisa, and 1 of this, god damn it, Kahina. She's very bopping. So, like, the Aya is on play, top check 3, add. Really good for getting into our climaxes because they're all gates, so we have no way to get them. Funnily enough, Lisa does the same thing. So these 3, because you're going to play 2 of these and 1 of this Lisa. So you're going to top check 9 to add your climax. So hopefully you can get it. The Hina is just a, basically this plays for 1 if you have 4 or more colors and heals you. So it's sort of like, you know, it's good to have a healer in the deck, and it's Pastel Palettes, you can grab it. But you can drop this if you want to add something else. But basically, here's how this endgame combo works. And there's one important card that I forgot because I put it over here. That's also pretty important for this combo. That irritating girl, the girl on the toilet, the $25 uncommon from set 1. So let's talk about how this combo works. I'm gonna lay the whole thing out. So here's our back row. And we're gonna have our Lisa here, our Aya, and another Aya. And because of the way the combo works, you're gonna have to move one of your Mayas that's been living down to the back row, or play one of your Aya clock searchers to the back row. So this is sort of what your board's gonna have to look like. And what you do is, interestingly enough, because this card is broken, if you put this on the Lisa, which if you've figured out by now is what we're going to restand, this goes off every time Lisa attacks. So what's Lisa's cost for burn? Because this card, when it attacks, you can pay 1, pitch a Roselia character to burn 1. So you're hoarding all those. You're hoarding all these Roselia cards in your hand that we have in our deck. We're just trying to hoard all these Roselia cards, our extra copies of Lisa, all this stuff. So we're hoarding these in our hand. This makes it so that for the other cost for Aya, which is pay 2, ditch 2, restand a blue character, this makes that cost not as bad because ideally we're adding a card to our hand every time Lisa attacks. So let me play this out. You play that irritating girl targeting Lisa. You get a free stock for it. You're holding all these cards in your hand. You move to attack. You pay 1, pitch a Roselia character, burn 1. Then you, over here, you pay on attack. You pay 2, ditch 2, stand a blue character. You attack with her. You draw another card with that irritating girl. Pay 1, pitch 1, burn 1. You then attack with this. Pay 2, ditch 2, stand blue. That as the attack goes through. On here again, draw a card with that irritating girl because you're always revealing music because you're a good player. Pay 1, pitch 1, burn 1, and then attack. So how many instances of damage is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 instances of damage.
That seems pretty good.
That's pretty good because there's pings for 1 in there. So you're getting 5 vanilla swings and 3 pings. Which is pretty explosive. So this is like sort of a build your own Marika combo, so people like to call it, because it's sort of emulating the original Nisekoi Marika, which is like burn 1, pay a bunch, restand, on attack, burn again, which is like always really destructive. It's one of the main reasons that Nisekoi got banned. But because of the way that irritating girl works, you're sort of refilling your hand as you go. So the fact that you need to ditch a bazillion cards doesn't matter as much, especially with your climax lineup, which let me get this all out of here now that I've talked about the combo. And you're thinking, how do I get all these Roselia characters into my hand, Carmen? How does that work? That sounds impossible. Well, it's easy when you're running 8 gates. The best part about running this list, this is like one of the most consistent climax lineups you can run, is 8 door gate or whatever the hell you want to call it. You always grab a Roselia character off this if you can, unless you really need something to pop off at level 1. But yeah, that's like the main idea of the deck. You're just going to like sit on these giant 2/1s that no one can deal with all game. Because it's English and no one knows how to deal with these because decks just don't have the tools to deal with them. And then you're going to burn people out like crazy with Lisa and Aya. Just like a really crazy combo. So like in terms of consistency, you can usually get this off every game pretty consistently because you're running 8 gate, you're running all these filtering tools and stuff like that. Whether or not it gets you there, you know, you would hope it would, but I've been a bad enough player for people to not die to this. But, you know, I don't know if this is a deck that I would bring to a tournament. I've seen people run something similar to this, and instead of, I think this was at Toronto, I saw someone where instead of running this, what they did was they just restood the Brainstormer. They just pushed the Brainstormer up and restood it, which is like super spicy because you're a big thing with restanders is they keep soul if they trigger soul. So Lisa might end up overswinging. The fact that she pings before she attacks is pretty good. So you have a chance to like ping off a climax swing for big, even though that's all superstition. So like this would be pretty spicy as you're just swinging in with like small soul every time. So like 2, maybe 3 if it triggers another one, maybe 3 again. Like that seems pretty neat, but it's a really cool shell. This deck's a lot of fun. It's just something that I wanted to highlight, get something out there for it because I love Shiroha. Shiroha is just so much fun. She feels so unfair for people to deal with, even if you feel bad when your whole hand's gone. But she helps. This one helps you get it back. So, but yeah, I think that's it. You guys got anything to add?
No, it's a really cool deck.
Yeah, it's just really fun. I'm glad that like all these cards are in English so that we can play with them. But I don't know if anything in volume. What is it? Bang Dream Anime Volume 2. Added anything for this deck, but I'll have to see, as I'm sure we'll get it in English eventually. But yeah, I think that's it. Pittsburgh White Schwartz signing off. If you're in the Pittsburgh area, come check out Heroes Inc. We're recording the deck tech here today. We're like, 5-10 minutes from the airport? Not even. Really close. Stop in. Our events are on Wednesdays, but we play in here pretty much every day. So there's always going to be someone in here if you want to catch some games if you're in town. So yeah, that's it. Pittsburgh White Schwartz signing off.